I'm not sure.
Let's start. Before I always forget, and then I just send half video when I actually give all the information. So this is going to be recorded for the ones that I cannot join. But it's so nice to see well, people that I don't know. Some people, they come from Ada's side. But for me, it's lovely actually to see. I don't know, Gary. It's the first time that I see you, and then Anna, the same. Um, it is another Adalesa here in the house, which
Yes, we just need to make sure that you are actually, you have your name on the, Ashley, you have my name on your, so you have just to rename. And Anna, it could be or could be not Anna. So because that name was repeating last week as well.
That's not, and we have Linda too. I don't really know, but look, guys, I'm extremely respectful of everyone's time because we are here on time. So we start with this session, with this round table. For the ones that is actually the first time coming here, this is a place that we actually learn, we share tips, and we help each other, because if you are here, it's because you are, or you want to be a coach, mentor, or consultant. You have that willing, that you want to move forward in your career, but maybe you are in that process that how to do it or how I can improve. So seriously, feel free to open your mic when you need it. Raise your hands if you have any questions, or drop a message in the chat, okay, if you actually need it. So let's make it official, and I will give you the fresh welcome. I'm going to start to share my screen, and let's rock and roll. Everyone can see my screen?
Yeah.
Everyone can see the lovely welcome message that we have for you? Lovely, excellent. So anyway, welcome to the Lead Generation Roundtable. And today's topic is extremely special for me because it was the most difficult when I actually start my own business, which it was, what do I do first? Like, I want to generate leads. I want to, of course, start creating credibility and start getting recommendations, but what do I do first? And it's funny, you know, like, it depends where you go. People, they start telling you, focus on the website, focus on your branding, find your customer, your perfect client, your ideal client, start, you know, publishing stuff, and you're like, but what first? What can someone can give me the checklist, please, and I can actually go one by one. So for that reason, this is really this topic really gets me, because I think it took me a few months until I actually, you know, understood the step that we shouldn't miss. So look, everyone is more than welcome, and it's so nice to see faces, so feel free to open your camera. It's always nice to see the wow face when we see when we say something cool, and I don't think about it when when we don't actually see don't say something cool. And use the chat for questions, raise your hands, whatever you prefer. Okay, so this is a round table, and I really want to know you better. So please just put me in the chat, what is the focus of your coaching? Are you a business coach or mentor, or are you, you know, business career executive? What exactly do you do for hobby, for business, or just you have the I don't know, the thing in your mind that I might want to go at some point for this
This, so let's see. So Darren is helping business owners to sell their business.
Lovely.
Marriage coach, we have Leslie. Have Alexandra. I know there's a cultural and diversity coach.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
That is something that, well, I am immigrant in Ireland, and then before I went to Canada. So thank you very much for coaches like you that make things easier for the ones that we miss home.
Yes, we have Bobby becoming a mindset coach.
Lovely.
Gary is a consultant, web.
Excellent. Look at how diverse we are. Excellent.
Ashley, well, she wants to become a health and fitness coach.
Very good. You have a client already here. we need, excellent. So thank you very much, guys, for sharing, because we are here together. And I think coaching became so popular, and maybe it became popular, and maybe you will see that so many people, they start telling you what to do, and I have the recipe that you need. But I think something that we need to understand, and I go for this agenda in this roundtable. Let's identify how to identify your client's goal. Know your ideal client. How to identify your client's goal. How can your service be the differentiating point your client is looking for, and your added value? And and perhaps, and maybe this is going to become a debate, but until now, I want to ask you to be open to the idea that your service is that before and after in your client's life. And believe that, because the reality is that your client is at some point wants to go wherever the client wants to go, but for some reason the client cannot do it by himself or by herself. And that is when you come to the equation, because your service should be, or you are hoping that your service is that before and after in your client's life. Okay, so let's go point by point. So here, yeah, this is actually me. That was actually a picture of me before. Literally, is like, I have a passion. I want to start my business. I left my corporate job, which it was the job I thought at some point it will be my job, that job that gives you everything. And then you're like, actually, it was just in my dreams, it's still a job. So I literally, I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know how to connect with my client. I don't know where my client is. I don't know how to even to start a conversation. What am I supposed to do? Because something about coaching is that do it because you want to help, but at the same time you need to charge, because otherwise how are we going to survive? Even when you mentor, if you want to mentor, everyone tells you do it for passion, but the passion doesn't pay the bill. So we need to actually do it in this way that you mix things right. So I want to introduce you, and if you have a pen and paper, let's do actually together. I really want for us to have this, to do this activity very, very dynamic. And I'm going to start doing some drawing to do it. So let's say, guys, that your client is here, in this situation is, and I want you to start thinking, where is my client? What is the starting point? If you are a health coach, is the starting point of my client, I don't know, is a very sad position, or is a very uncomfortable situation? Where is my client? Where is the starting point of your client that your client decide that you need to start a difference in her life, okay, or in his life? And then you said, okay, this is the starting point of my client. So really start thinking, what is the starting point? And then your client wants to go, guess what? Somewhere. This is, let's say, like happy faces, because it's where the client wants to be. So your client wants to be here. So for you, you need to start mapping what is that space that your client wants to be. Let's say that, like, today I was actually having a conversation that someone is speaker coach, and then says, like, the starting point of my client is someone that is super nervous and doesn't manage the camera well. Okay, and what is the end point? Someone secure, someone that actually can do videos, someone that is able to do a conference. So start thinking, where is the ideal scenario for your client? Because if your client is here, guys, but your client wants to go here, you are this bridge, and see yourself as this bridge that is going to provide the clarity that your client needs. Okay, so thinking about that, let me go actually to the second. So until now, actually, I want to move, but I want to ask you a question. Do you know, and please just write yes or no answer if you want, is it clear for you where your client wants to go? Is it clear for you? Like, do you have it clear? I know every person has different goals, but within your area, do you have it clear where your client wants to go? I'm just going to give 2 minutes of silence for that question. No, seriously. Feel free if you want to just talk or just to say something. The reason that I'm actually asking this, guys, is because your client wants clarity, evolution, and transformation. That is what the client is looking for when
Yeah.
reach out to you. You know,
Yes.
yeah. Tell me, Ada.
Yeah, no, so like Darren saying that, yeah, some parts are unclear, and different clients would have different things. So and that's, Alexandra, I think that it was you need to explore a little bit more, and that's the thing. So we may know exactly the thing, what is your client actually imagining, where's the outcome at the end, but the thing is that there is a journey that they have to go through. And for us on services, because I think most of us are service providers, and for me, probably Darren and Gary as well, that we have agencies and we're in a business we're providing services is the same as a coach, as a consultant, we're providing a service, and it's just imagining how we can picture this, because it's not the same selling a service as a coaching service or consultant service, or even a marketing service. It's not the same as selling a product, because people will pay you and then they will get a product on their hand.
In their hands, and they
Yes.
can see it. This is something as well, and thank you very much, Ada, to bring this to the table, that when we actually offer services, guys, that is pure credibility, pure hope in this transaction, because the client doesn't actually receive something solid. It's not like going to the supermarket and beep, beep, pay and let's go, and then in your mind, you pay, you receive. But when a client of us is trusting us, the client doesn't like, in our brain is like, okay, I'm paying you, and what am I supposed to receive? It's very normal that as a humans we pay and we want to receive. So when the client, what really wants is to receive is that help to move from A to B, and from our sides we should that support that provides the help, the clarity, and the evolution. So why is important for you to know this? If you understand where your client wants to go, you will speak the same vocabulary that the client. You will understand his fears, her fears. You will understand their goals. So it will feel like a friend conversation. And please raise hands or type me if you have been with someone that you share some thoughts and then it's like, oh my God, we get along so well. You understand me. Like it seemed that we actually are friends from ever. It's because we have that connection, that someone has experienced that. Like you actually met someone and then it became like, we met in another life. Definitely we met in another life, because this is way too good. So this is the same, guys, even if you as a consultant, the same. The client will go to you for answers because the client wants to go somewhere. So for you to, not even to prove, but for you to give that credibility, you need to understand, you need to have this clarity in your mind, where I'm going to bring my client. If you know, you are going to start speaking the same vocabulary, but also something super important. And actually, I'm going to do another drawing here because I like drawing, so I'm going to use any excuse to start drawing. That if you have, these little runners here, you can actually take that as a stages. Is this a stage one? Stage one? Is this a stage two? Is this a stage three? Like how long is it going to take from your client to go here to go here? So many coaches, and I'm going to include myself, in the beginning, I was offering just one session. And let's be realistic, a client is not going to see any results in one session. Maybe he's going to have some clarity and maybe he's going to set some goals, but like results, like, you know, something that is going to be wow, in one session is very difficult. So I was actually finding myself offering one session because, you know, I don't know, maybe I didn't have, I wasn't very secure of myself. That I was like, yes, let's do one session and let's see, let's see, you know, how we actually evolve. But when you know where your client is right now and where it wants to go, you actually start thinking, do you know what? Minimum a person to move from here to here, it will be minimum 3 months or minimum 8 sessions, because we need to, you know, we need to break the habit and then adapt and then evaluate and then adapt again. So minimum 8 weeks. So then you as a coach or as a mentor, as a consultant, you start actually having a solid service. It's like, okay, minimum. So, okay, you want to start with me? Yes, because you want to move from here to here. That is perfect. So at least we need to work together 6 months, at least. Because if you want these results, we need time, or we need this effort, or we need even this money. Something that is a massive, seriously guys, something that I'm not going to be tired to ask, to tell you, is that clients, they will go for the cheapest solution, literally. If you offer one session and then you said, oh, maybe you can go to the 5 sessions, the client will say, okay, I will take the first. Why? Because we are actually looking for the cheapest one. But if you genuinely know that your client is here, but your client wants to go here, and then you said, you know what, minimum, I need this, I don't know, let's say 6 sessions. Then you avoid to offering one that you know is not going to be enough. What happened, and that happened to me, I'm not going to actually put any examples, that I was the 80%, literally the 80% of my clients they were not renewing, because people, they lose momentum. They come with, you know, they get this hyper that, yes, I want to change and I'm going to start rich and I'm going to go and I'm going to hire someone. And then you offer one session and then they realize the job that they need to do. They realize all the effort and the commitment, and they are like, maybe this is not that bad. Maybe I could stay here. So I was losing the 80% of my clients. I changed my methodology and I stopped offering one-to-one, and I went for one to a package. And I said, do you want to see results? Perfect. Okay. So the package is 8 sessions. We see every week, and we can start working in this, because you need evolution, and if you need evolution, you need time, and you want transformation, and you need, you need to put some effort, but then you need the clarity. So I was giving that clarity because I knew that one session is not going to be enough. So what so far comes to your mind? Do you think that makes sense, or what are your thoughts so far? I really want to hear you guys.
I think for what I'm doing, because I work with clients that want to sell, but they don't know how they want to sell. They don't know the process. So that kind of sort of breaking down the service, although I don't do sessions with customers, it's more a case of going through the entire process or not.
Yeah.
But having that broken down would assist me in the sale process, because actually getting them to understand that this isn't just a quick sign of a contract. There is steps involved with the process, growing their business, making it secure, making it sure that it can continue. They are steps where I coach the client into preparing their business for sale. So having those steps laid out as part of my sales pitch would actually allow me to improve my sales pitch and actually help them to understand where they're going. Because most people don't know the journey they're on. They know they need to get there, but they don't know the route. So
exactly.
mapping that route for them would help.
Yes, yes, I totally support that, Darren, because the reality is that if let's say, for example, if you tell me, oh, Andrea, I'm going to help you to increase your sales by 200%, and that's it, I will be like, oh, yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
really, you know. But if you actually show me, it's like, look, Andrea, you are here and you want to go there, and this is how it's going to be. This is how we're going to start working together. Step one, stage one. Then it's no doubt for for the goal, because it's so clear that actually is like, it makes sense. And if you ask me, and I need minimum 6 months of your time to actually
Yeah.
achieve that, I will say yes. But if you tell me I'm going to help you to increase your sales by 200%, and I need 6 months, 6 months without knowing why that, like, why do you need 6 months? Like, it's crazy. So I truly believe that a mapping, and if you know what you need to bring the client from A to B, it will be the difference for your business, like for all of us, because it happened to us. But I said like
Yeah.
that because I have Ada
Yes.
beside me, but maybe
Yeah.
maybe someone is.
Yes, no, but it's exactly the same. We have been studying as well, and the way that you literally map the journey, and when you show the client or the prospect how the journey is going to be, so then they can picture how it's going to be the outcome. So it's way easier to do the sales process and to sell a long term or a high ticket, or the 6 months or the 6 sessions. On my case, as on the agency, so it would be just explain what's going to be the journey of a campaign and what are all the things that has to be done in order to get the result. So you need to have the website, you need to have this, you need to have there, you need to have an audience, you need to drive this. So then when your audience arrives, you have the product to sell. But it's not that I have a product. Well, some products you can just like drive audience just to buy them. But if a client comes to me, I will have to drive as well and drive a funnel, just explain this is your product and here's your audience. This is the way you have to do it. And this is why the journey, it's going to take you, I don't know, 3 to 5 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
And actually, I was actually reading at the message, and I saw that Gary, you were telling that you are actually an e-commerce and e-learning specialist. And I remember when I was actually setting up my website, my e-commerce expert, my developer, didn't explain me nothing, and he was just asking me for money. It's not like, oh, we need this new subscription, and I was like, why? Because it's not much. It's like, and then one day he sat down with me and explained me so clear, and I was like, that is the only thing that I needed, and it seems that as a client, we need that clarity of where I'm going to put my time and my money. And if you show that, the client doesn't have any hesitation that you are the right person, to work with. What do you
and
think about? Yeah, tell me.
it's funny, a point that you made, how when people pay, they want to receive. You know how you said even there that he was asking you for money, and it probably didn't feel right because you weren't about to receive something. You just kind of opened my eyes there that, like, when people pay our deposits, there should be some immediate gratification they get, even at that stage. Like, congratulations, you're on stage 1, whatever it might be. So yeah, I just think that was a really good point. And we've been trying to processize things so that we do have a 5-stage process. Because as we're trying to scale up a little bit, that's becoming important. But I do find it's very difficult because in our type of work, each project does change quite a bit. The fundamental steps are the same, but to actually map that out and keep everyone on the same path is quite difficult. But it's good to be pulling them back towards the path, I guess.
Totally. Actually, by the way, guys, because for you, I know that even in the comments they said every client can be different, and Ada and myself, we use what is the system that we use to actually map every individual client, Ada? It's the
The
landing.
funnel. There is an app that I can share with you.
Yeah, so what about if put the Calendly link here, and maybe if you guys feel that this is something that you can implement, Ada and myself, we can actually show you how to do it. We are actually going to put the Calendly link here so you can actually book a session with us. Because yes, I understand that every client is different, but if you are in certain area, let's say if you are I don't know, a career coach, like, can you help your client to write an amazing CV? And that is going to be your, the goal. Or are you the type of career coach that is going to help your client to prepare for an amazing interview? That is another type, or is going to be, so which one is the end goal? So you can actually tell your client. So I do agree that every client has different goals, but as a coach, we need to be responsible to have clear our strength, where we are and where we can bring the client. So I'm just going to share a few tips with you here. Can you see my screen, or you see yourself? I don't know, actually. Yeah.
No, we're seeing ourselves now.
Oh, very good. No problem. I'm going to start. Yeah. So I think you can see the tips screen now.
Yes.
So the first is be aware of your why. Why you became a coach, a mentor, a consultant. Why? Because maybe at some point you were your client. Maybe you were that person that was struggling with something. And if you were your client before, no one is going to understand the client better. And at that point is when you have this friend-to-friend conversation. I was there. I understand you. So really start working in your why. And if you need to perfect your why in your speech and your storytelling, please use the link, because Adam and myself, we can totally help you with that. It's totally free. It's half an hour that you can actually take to improve your why. Then number 2, understand what the client is ready. Understand what client is ready for your service. Not every client is ready for you. And in the in the methodology that Ada and myself we actually mentor or coaches, is that it's super important to know your ideal client, but it's super important to know which one is not your ideal client, because you have half an hour. You need to understand which client is not for you. Otherwise, if you have half an hour to spend with a client, it can be the worst half an hour of your time if that client is not ready for you. So what I just to summarize, you need to understand red flags. So have in your mind, guys, red flags to understand which one is not your client. For example, for me, a red flag is when someone asks me, are you going to do it for me? And that for me is a red flag, because I know that someone is actually not willing to do the work by themselves. So for me, it's like, no, this is actually no, I will do it for you. This is actually, I can help you in the process, but you need to be involved. And when I see that, for me, it's like, maybe it's not my ideal client, and I let it go. I don't rush, and I don't even spend more time with someone that already showed me that it's not my ideal client. And then number 3, enjoy the partnership. As I said, it's 50-50. And I think as a coaches, especially in the beginning, or regardless, even as a business provider, we want to delight the client that much that we offer so much and we give so much, and then we feel undervalued. Then it's like, oh, the client doesn't appreciate me, or the client, doesn't, I don't feel that the client is giving its best. But the reality is that it's 50-50. So something that I have been learning seriously with experience is that I'm not responsible. If the client doesn't do it, I'm not responsible, even if the client pays me. This is a partnership, and make it very clear. Even if you provide a service, even if they are paying you for something, even for example, for you, Gary, that they are paying you for, I don't know, implementing the website, but you need things from your client, maybe the copywriting, or I don't know, I'm just, saying words. And if the client is non-time, and let the client know this is a partnership, and we are not here to do the job for the client. If you master, guys, and this is my experience, okay, and I'm more than open for someone that maybe doesn't agree, and we can actually discuss, but in my experience, and you know that Adam and myself, we actually have a 6 figures coaching business. In our experience, when you master where your client is, where the client wants to go, and the stages that you need for that to happen, you give the right service to the right person, and you are not desperate to actually get leads, because you speak the same language, and that actually feels like a conversation that you have with your client. So tell me, actually, that is, yeah, I want to show you this. I prepared this picky, and I forgot this. Look at this round table. Let's start.
Very good. Very good.
So I want to hear from you. Raise hands. What are your thoughts so far? Destroy me. Go for it. Or be polite. Don't worry.
Yes, well, at the end, it's pretty interesting to understand and to think about the type of services as well that we provide, because listening as well, just thinking, is that feeling, because I have had that with clients before as well, and is that feeling of responsibility that everything needs to be done, and that is something that I had to learn as well. I think it was in the hard way, and is that, yes, it's a partnership, and there are things that it depends on both, that things are done correctly, on time, and on certain way. So that is the thing about service providers. And when the clients, they don't understand that part, that there is a commitment between both, I think it's just hard to follow up and get into a rhythm that you can actually just deliver. And the thing about that, if there is no understanding, and if we don't see the red flags on time, usually what happens after is that the service is not good. So it will affect the provider.
And they blame you. You know, it's not their fault. It's your fault. And I don't know. Let's be honest. It has happened to you that you knew that client wasn't for you, and then you took it, and then it went to hell, and you were like, I knew it. That happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things with the clients is that it's the 80-20 rule, isn't it? Where 20% of your clients create 80% of your work. And the reason for that is because they're not your clients. They were never going to be your clients, and they don't fit your marketplace. So if you can identify the 80% of clients that create 20% of your work, they're the ones where you could actually take on a lot more clients, because they create less work for you, because they follow the process almost organically themselves, rather than you having to force them down one single route. The other thing, we talked earlier about how we set up the roadmap effectively for the client. I think the better language to use is something like a framework, where the framework is silos of work that needs to be completed. So for instance, if you use the example of the life coach or the job coach, getting ready for a CV, that's one section, that's one part of the framework. And then within there's steps that you do, but not every client will need every step. So the framework's almost like a matrix of things that you can deliver to your clients, and then you pick and choose depending on the client. So it might be, a client may need CV help and interview help. They may also need presentation help, and those things are things you could help with, but they cross over in the framework. And then you map in your first session with the customer. That's when you map, actually, you're going to need A, B, C, D, E, F, H, I, G. And that's then your mapping exercise to say, this is your route, this is your personalized route. I use the example of SatNav. No matter what road you're on, SatNav can find your route to wherever you want to go. But the first thing it has to do is find out where you are. So you have to have that first session to understand where you are, and then the rest is easy. And you know that there's certain motorways to use, there's certain A rows, there's B rows, there's all these different, tracks that you could go down. But without knowing where you are, your mapping will never work. So you have to understand the client's map and then map that to your process and say, actually, you need ABC for this section, you need ABC for that one, and DEF for that one. And then that actually assists you to understand where your client's going, and it gives your client a more personalized service as well, because you're just delivering your services that you specify and in a way that you specify them, but personalized for that client. So it gives the client more belief in your service as well, because this is standard. But it's personalized standard.
And then
clarity.
Yeah, it's the clarity, and let's be realistic. The client is actually going for you to guidance, to understand how you are going to help me. And if you go back, if you just turn the questions like, how do you want me to help you? It's kind of like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, do you have a package? Do you have a service? Do you have, so as I said, and I said in the beginning of the presentation, just be open to this framework. Be open to the idea that your client is here and wants to go here. Figure it out. What is this? And then you can understand what service do you need in the middle. You should be, and you want to be, that bridge that provides that to your client, your guidance and your service. So just be open to the idea, and we can totally discuss that. If something that you saw today resonate with your business, with the methodology that you want to implement, feel free to use the link that we provide, because we can totally go and see that. But that's it. Thank you very much. My goodness, time flies today. Any other thoughts, guys?
We're having fun.
No. Any other thoughts? No, Ashleen. Peppy, what do you think? You are a life coach. You want to be a life coach. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm training to be an NLP trainer.
Lovely.
Yeah. So NLP. So my goal is to train the NLP practitioners, master practitioners, and also help as a coach for conquering the world with Arctic, with my supplement business.
Lovely.
So being as a having those tools to coach people to live the life of their dreams, if it's not with Arctic, but just help them. That's my passion. So
that is good. And will you see this mapping, that something that you can actually implement within your business?
Yes, because I always ask people when they're talking about their dreams, just to tell me the wildest dream. Don't put any limitations, just spit it out.
Yeah.
And then we start work from there, because it's your inner God that knows the truth. And for us, it's our critical mind that we can figure out the process to get there. Because if you just throw it out, it's there, make the plan and go for it.
Absolutely. I think my only comment, which I think is amazing, what I love NLP, I think it's fantastic. It will be for you to have a realistic program, instead of in terms of the sessions. Like, if you really want to help your client, how many sessions do you think that your client is going to need, regardless the beginning and the end? Because we know that as a coaches, we need time to implement. So how many sessions do you need with your client to see a difference? Like I genuinely, I don't want anyone to lose 80% of their clients as I did, because I was offering one session and then people lose momentum, like, I'm not getting back. The first one, just one was great, but I kind of spent my money in another thing, So I think that commitment, get a nice package, and then you have that commitment for your client.
Yes. Yes. And what are you taking from today's session, guys? Where's the takeaway?
We love takeaways. What is your takeaway?
The part that stood out to me was at the end where you said, enjoy the partnership. that's something that I completely underestimated up until the last year, where we brought people to the end of their journey and said, you know, you're transformed, nice one, we'll see you whenever. But basically we've learned that you build up so much trust with your clients along the way that they're so willing to want to work with you beyond the transformation, because it doesn't just stop. So that's been one of our big things, is continuing to offer more stuff to clients who've already had the transformation and just keeping them happy that they're always reaching their potential rather than it beginning to slide again, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think that was great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is anyone else that want to share? I'm conscious about the time. We're actually 3 minutes for this to finish, but it's anyone else that wants to share something else? Any another takeaway? Ashlyn,
yeah. So what you said about the 50-50, obviously the partnership, I find a lot of people who ask me for help just take, and they expect me to do it all for them. And then when I not refuse, but kind of like say, well, you can do this and that and the other, they kind of think, oh, fuck you then. I'm going to go somewhere else that will actually tell me exactly what to do. So I kind of just realizing I am here to help, but you need to do a bit of stuff yourself too, kind of thing. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah,
totally.
That's very, very
totally. Yeah, and if you do the mapping, you can actually do it in a very fun way, Ashley, because like, look, let's do this together. I will help you with this, but I will need this. You know, it seems like a road, you know, like a car road that you actually go. I don't know if for you, but I'm a very visual person, and I need the, you know, most of people, we are visual. So if you actually show them, you know, the road out together, and you need the effort, you know, you can say, I am the car, but I need a driver.
Yeah.
So
I'll try to draw that map next week when we do the session. So I'll draw it live. But it's actually pretty easy. And one of the things as well that I'm taking, that I want to refer, we're working on the 20%. We have a 20% hour a day. So it's the hour when we actually just try to do, you know, all the thinking and all the strategic plans that we do. So we have that 20/80. That's a 20% hour that we have every day.
Totally, the 20. Very good. Thank you for putting your camera, Linda. How are you today?
Hi. Sorry, it's just that I had like kind of a visit, so I didn't want that to.
No worries.
Well, at least you were not driving this time.
No, this time driving. I got earlier from school, so I got home earlier.
Lovely.
But yeah, I was listening. I'm a student. I don't have like anything to report to this thing today, but it's really been good listening to all of you and actually taking notes.
Totally.
About it.
Take all the good ideas and then you start your business.
I am. I'm a spy in here.
Lovely. Excellent. That is all this space is about. It seriously. To improve, we are here together. And to be honest, the reason that Ada and myself we are doing this is because we wish that we found a place like that when we were starting our business, and it was challenging, to be honest. So let's think about this roundtable as the safest place for everyone to come and to learn and to share some thoughts. Okay, but guys, thank you very much for coming, and we see you next Wednesday. Seriously, thank you very much.
Any comments as well or suggestions for topics? We're also open.
We actually opened the group because you guys were mentioning about like, hey, let's open a group. So we actually have a Facebook group. So feel free. Have a hi. Now I know who is Anna. Hi, Dominic. Now I know who.
Sorry, I only figured the camera now. Sorry.
No problem. It's like, now I know that Anna is Dominic.
Okay.
Okay, that's no problem. Yeah, guys, so if you have actually any topic that you're like, oh, guys, actually I'm struggling with this, just send it to us and we just break it through, okay?
Okay, well, have a lovely week, lovely rest of the week. And
thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Seriously, thank you, Leslie, Kalicha, Dominic.
Bye. Bye.
Sarah Landers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.